Hi there, Dr. Callahan here. We're going to start a brand new unit. We're done with section 1.2 to 1.6. So we're going to start with 2.1, which is on slope-intercept form. So make sure you guys get your guided notes ready. All right, I want you guys to write down your thoughts right here on the model and discuss. It says Alani wants to buy a $360 bicycle. She's considering two payment options. The image shown, option A, which consists of making an initial down payment, then smaller equal-sized weekly payments. Option B consists of making 6 equal payments over 6 weeks. So go ahead and pause the video and respond to questions A and B. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at example 1. So with example 1, it says sketch the graph of y equals -3/4x minus 5. So a few things before you guys need to know when we get started is that this is called y-intercept form. And in order to graph a line, it has to be in this form. Notice that the b is just a number by itself. This is the y-intercept, and this is also the starting point. It is always going to be on the y-axis, and the y-axis is the axis that goes up and down. Second thing you need to know is the slope. M is the slope, and it's always in a fraction, and if it's a positive, you go up and over, and if it's a negative, you go down, but it's always going to be over to the right. All right, so let's go ahead and identify those two things on this equation. So my slope here is -3/4, which means you're going to go down 3 steps, over to the right 4 steps. Your y-intercept is a -5, and that's where we're going to be starting, is at -5. So if you take a look at this graph right here, it's not a great graph because it is not drawn to scale. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw like this. There we go. And we're going to start off with -5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my first dot. Then I look at my slope. My slope is go down 3/4. 1, 2, 3/1, 2, 3, 4. So now I have 2 points, but I'm running out of space. So I can see the direction of my graph. Now the direction of this graph is looking like it is going in this direction, okay, with a negative slope. So because I'm running out of space, I can also go up 1, 2, 3, but over to the left 1, 2, 3, 4. If you have a ruler, you can go ahead and connect the dots together, but I don't, so I'm just gonna do this. And that is my line right there in green. All right, next one we're gonna do is I'm gonna do the reverse of this. So now they gave us a line, but they want us to write it into the equation. Okay, so once again, you're going to start off with the starting point, which is B. This is always on the y-axis. And if you look at it, it's right here, and it's going 1, 2. So your B is -2. So I'm going to put -2 right there. Then you're going to look at the slope. Your slope is going to be the rise over run. If you look at this right here, it is a positive slope because as it's going down this direction, it will be a negative slope. So I know that my M for the slope is going to be a positive number because it's a positive slope. So next we want to do, you want to pick 2 points. Here's the first point, here's the second point, and you want to find the rise over run. If you look at it, you're rising up 2, and you're running over 1, 2, 3. So once again, you're going to rise up 2, and you're going to run over 3. So my slope is going to be 2/3. And that's your equation. Y is equal to 2/3 x minus 2. And if you don't believe that your equation is right, what you can do is you can always just go ahead and graph it one more time to make sure that you did it correctly. So I'm going to start on -2, up 2/1, 2, 3, up 2/1, 2, 3. So here's my line. If you look at it, does it compare pretty similarly to the original equation? Yeah, it looks about the same. So I know I got the equation correctly. Number 3, write the equation of the slope-intercept form. So slope-intercept is y equals mx plus b. That passes through the point. Those are the 2 points. Now, you're going to need the slope formula. The slope formula is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now, I know you're like, well, there's a bunch of numbers and letters here, so let's label everything. This is your first point, so it's x1, y1. Second point is x2, y2. And then you essentially just need to go ahead and plug this in. It's always easiest to plug this in if you start off with a y2 minus a y1 right there. And then x2 minus x1. So I have 6 minus 4 and negative 1 minus 5. Subtract to get 2 over negative 6, reduce it negative 1 over 3, and that is my slope. It's a negative slope, 1 over 3. But I'm not done with this yet because this is write the equation. Okay, so you got to write the equation. Now the equation means that you have to have m and b. Well, I got m, but I'm still missing b. So what do? I go ahead and get the equation and I pick a point. I'm going to pick 5 and 4 because it doesn't have any negative numbers. And there's something wrong with, there we go, my pen here. So I'm going to pick this point right there. So I have y equals mx plus b. My point here is 5, 4. And I also know that my slope is negative 1 over 3. So x is 5, y is 4. So 4 equals m, which is a negative 1/3, times x, which is my 5, plus b. Okay, there's something wrong with my pen here. It's acting a little weird. Okay, there we go. So 4 equals, multiply this. Well, negative 1 and 5 is a negative 5 over 3 plus b. Now you're going to go back to elementary school to subtract fractions or add fractions. Here I have a negative 5 over 3, so I have to add 5 over 3 on both sides. I wish this pen would stop being difficult. Okay, so 5 over 3 plus 4 over 1. Now, you want a common denominator, so if I make the 1 a 3, 4 becomes a 12, and so then when I add it together, I have 17 over 3 equals b. Now that I have my b and I have my m, I can go ahead and write it my equations. Y equals m, which is a negative 1/3 x, plus 17 over 3. And that is your equation for this line. Now, if you're like, well, how would I be able to graph this? You can convert this into a decimal and go ahead and proceed to graph that way. So let's see, what would that be? So 17 divided by 3 is going to give you a 5.67. So if I were to graph this, and we're just going to graph it on the side right here, I will start off at 5.67. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 5.67 is probably going to be right there. My slope is a negative 1 over 3, so I go down 1, 2, 3 over, or excuse me, go over down 1 and over 1, 2, 3. Down 1, 1, 2, 3. And then if you connect your line or dots, this is your line. All right, I would like you guys to go ahead and answer questions 1 and 2, and then I will proceed forward with the next example. Okay, so number 5, you have negative 5 right here, and I wish they would draw this so it's a little bit more aligned. But since they're not drawing this, I will draw it. I'm going to start right here. This one starts at a 2. I'll put it right there. Okay. So let's start off with example 5. Example 5 starts at negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And notice how I left a little bit of space on top so I can draw my slope, which is a 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1. 1, 2 over 1. And then you're just going to go ahead and connect the dots. And that is your equation, or that's how you draw a line. Let's do the same thing over here. Your slope is -3/4, which means I'm going to go down 3/4. My y-intercept is a 2, so I'm going to start off at the y-axis at 2, 1, 2, right there. And then my slope is -3/4, so I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, over to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1, 2, 3, over to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to go ahead and take my ruler and I'm going to connect the dots. And that's my equation with how to graph a line. Okay, number 7, it says identify the slope. Slope is m and y-intercept, which is b, for the line of the equation. Now remember, your y-intercept is always going to be by itself. So if you look at this number right here, it's by itself. There's nothing attached to it. Same thing over to number 8, it will be 5. Now with your slope, that's always the number in front of the x. So if it's not in a fraction, you just put a 1 underneath that. For number 8, it's 1/4. Let's continue on with number 9. Write the equation of the line of the graph. All right, so if I look at this, my b is at 1. And then if I look at my slope, and you always want to pick 2 dots, it looks like a negative slope because you're going down. And you're going over. You're going down 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going over 1, 2. So my slope here is going to be down 4/2 or -2/1. So if I were to write my equation for this equation here, it'll be y equals -2x plus 1. And that is your answer. Let's do the same thing with the example 10. With example 10, your slope, or excuse me, your y-intercept is at -2. And your slope, and you want to pick 2 dots, is a positive slope because you're going up 1, 2, 3, and you're going over 2. So my slope here is going to be a positive 3/2. So therefore my equation is going to be m 3/2x minus 2. And that is your equation. Okay, so I'm going to go over number 11 with you guys, but I'm going to have you guys do number 12 on your own. A line that passes through these 2 slopes. First thing you want to do is you want to label them. Next, you want to find the slope formula. So y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. So my slope is going to be a -4 over -3, which is going to be a positive 3/4. Now that I have m, I need to find b. So in order to find b, I go back to my original y-intercept equation, and I notice that I want to use the second point because it has a 0. I'm hoping that's going to cancel something. So then if that's going to be 0, -3, my x is 0, my y is -3. So put -3 equals m. M that I found out was 4/3. X is 0 plus b. And guess what? I can go ahead and cancel the 0 and the slope. So then my b is just -3. So if I write my equation, y equals slope, which is 4/3, x minus 3. And that is my answer. Oops, I don't like that color. It's a little bit too difficult to see. Okay, now I'm just really messing it up. Hold on a second. Okay, so my answer for number 11 is y is equal to 4/3 x minus 3. Now that I've done this one many times, I would like you guys to do number 12 and just follow along with that. All right, so here is your homework tonight. You have questions 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way to 11, you could pick any questions that you would like. Pause the video if you don't want to see the answers, because here's the answers, and you can go ahead and check your answers for that. When you're ready to take the quiz, go ahead and do that. It is not really long. It's only about 5 questions, and keep in mind that there were 2 points apiece. Okay, there you go. And your grand total is going to be out of 10 points. Okay. And then here are your answers for the quiz. As always, here is my link to all of the videos for this class and also for other skills that you need to practice with. And as always, stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you guys next time.